Hello, everybody, and welcome to the official Goodman Games Twitch channel. I am Manly Mike Curtis, and I'm here with a man who needs no introduction, especially if you just watched the previous episode, which was just on moments ago, Mr. Joey Royale. Joey, welcome to our little impromptu show.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's an honor and a privilege to sit next to you.
Every year at Gen Con, they stick Elena and I in a small room, and we have forced to interview people like this. So I'm glad I get to talk to you this time.
Thank you very much.
Far more interesting than most of the other people we have to talk to on the show. So, all right. So this, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
This is your first Gen Con.
This is my first convention, Michael.
Your first convention? Oh my God!
So I went to a small gaming convention last year. That was just tabletop games.
Would that be Total Con?
That would be Total Con.
Yes.
That was Total Con.
Total Con. If you're in the New England
Total
area.
Con. Double thumbs up. So that's where I got my feet wet. This is my first big con. So I am floating.
All right. So, I mean, because Gen Con is kind of legendary, especially gamers of a certain age, everybody who came up playing for the 80s. You know, we remember all the stories in Dragon Magazine.
Sure.
They talk, every year they had the recap and everything. So, how does it live up to the hype?
It lives up to the hype and then some. So I was born in the wrong decade. So my entire life I've been reading magazines from before I was born. So I've gone back to those dragons, and I've read the 80s dragons. And just got the feeling of what this magical thing is. But to actually come here and work for Goodman Games has been a dream come true. This is my Disneyland.
I mean, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time, my first Gen Con wasn't until like 2013. You know,
Yep.
I had done like local cons, but never anything this big. And like, it really was life changing. If you know anybody,
It is.
Yeah, I mean, just coming out there and being amongst, and I think this year the largest amount of your fellow gamer geeks, nerds, freaks, and everything else. You know, I mean, it's just it's so great to see other people who are like, oh, okay, you get me, I get you.
Absolutely. It's like all the kids from our lunch table are now here and free to be ourselves.
Right.
And a big, well, you know, everybody's been down in their basement or in some room, not out amongst the public for a long time. So there is some sort of electric wave here of, all right, we're back. And being so digitally connected to everybody, to meet all my digital friends in person has been absolutely incredible. What a gift that's been.
I know. It's amazing how small and or short people are after dealing with them for
The
3
size
years.
comparisons have been pretty interesting. Yeah.
Right. So now not only is this your first, this is your first major con experience,
Yeah.
but you didn't, like a lot of people, I mean, they spend their entire life waiting to come to Gen Con, and they come to Gen Con and they just play games their entire
Yeah.
time. But you did the true Joey Royale thing. You couldn't just be there. You had to you had to take it to the next level. You had to take it to the next step. You were actually running games as
Oh,
well
yeah.
as part
Yeah.
of it. So are you involved in the tournament?
Yeah, no, I'm doing the funnel. I'm
you're doing
doing
the funnel. That's
Brendan
right.
LaSalle's new funnel, which has been absolutely incredible. So I told Jen Brinkman, sign me up for whatever time. So I got all the 9 o'clock slots.
I'm
We're
with you.
starting out the day, hitting the road, killing villagers, and having a great time.
I tell you, my personal philosophy, I love a 9 a.m. game
Yeah,
slot
yeah.
because the people who are there to play.
Yes.
It's not one of those, whatever,
Yep.
I'll come in there. No, if you're awake and hopefully showered by 9 o'clock,
Hopefully.
you are ready.
I've had good luck with that. I've had nice, clean tables of good time, but you're right. There's an intentionality. They're like, all right, 9 o'clock, we got to get ready, get those scrambled eggs in, and let's get down to the
Right,
table.
let's shovel them in at the hotel,
Yeah,
and then let's
yeah.
get out, get the dice and everything.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. Great group so far.
All right. So have you been able to notice around the table, I mean, obviously you get a whole mix of people. You get people
Sure.
who have, I was talking to some other people who have never role played before, who've just kind of somehow wandered into and decided to play a funnel. And then there are other people who've been playing, they've played, D&D or,
Yeah.
Shadowrun or something like that. And they're just like, okay, I'm going to try this out.
Yeah.
And then there, of course, the DCC diehards, just like, I'll have any excuse to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had veteran. I've played 2 games so far, and both have been a healthy mix of veterans and newbies.
Okay.
And I haven't had even to do the work. Like, by the time I get to the table and they're all sitting down, the veterans are explaining to the newbies, you're going to love this. This is how this works. So there's this evangelizing going on at the table itself. And I think, because I'm running a funnel experience, DCC veterans aside, the new people are like, this is the most amazing thing in the world. And unfortunately, I tell them, please don't get attached to your characters. and the livestock that they're carrying into the dungeon. Most of them aren't going to make it out, but boy, I get so much pleasure, and they get so much pleasure with the death stamp hitting the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this tournament was written by Brendan LaSalle. Some people who are listening might be familiar with Brendan's work, but when we came up with this idea, I told Brendan, I said, I want you to write the funnel that when people are done 3 hours, they're going to be like, this wasn't Dungeons and Dragons. This was the whole DCC experience. And
both of my games so far have ended with applause from all of us.
Right.
The funnel that he wrote is just amazing. It really fits the bill. A nice 2 to 3 hour thing, and everybody's on their way to start the day covered in blood. It's been a blast. Yeah.
Right. So now, have you is that it for kind of what you're running? I mean, are you just doing the
so
funnel stuff?
those are my games on the books.
And I was going to say,
yeah.
all the fun
on
stuff
the books.
happens off the books
At night.
right?
Yeah. So I've been trying to take care of myself. So I went to bed early last night. So I'm pacing myself today to have the energy to run some games off the books. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of requests for Ninja City or Weird Heroes of Public Access, so I'd love to run some of those games for some people off hours.
I have a feeling that tonight might be that night.
I think so. I think so.
If you're out there and you're watching and you're here in the Gen Con area, you know that the party afterwards is at the Embassy Suites.
Embassy Suites.
That's where the Goodman Games crowd, the DCC crowd, they all come together for that game that we love, and we start rolling funky dice, and this is where all the magic happens. You
know what was really cool about that, Michael? So we were sitting in the lobby yesterday, and I think it was Harley Stroh. We were all talking. He got distracted for a second, and like his jaw dropped. He goes, "Look at that! Who else has that?" And I leaned over the booth to see what he was looking about, and there was a hand-drawn thing like DCC After Hours taped to the wall of the hotel with the arrow going up. Like it's still got that feel, like you're hanging out at the secret hideaway.
Exactly.
You know, it's like from what I can see, Goodman Games has grown exponentially as to the attraction, but there's still the handwritten sign on the wall for the After Hours punk party.
It is. It's like everything else. Brandon and I were kind of talking a little bit of this today, but there is that tendency of like, we have some success and everything, so we're going to be more professional. We're going to put, we're going to spend that money to get, the print shop to print everything out, so we have everything on the table, and we got our banners, and we've got some of that, but there is still very much the DIY,
Absolutely.
mentality here. And I mean, half of that comes out. I'm sure you know this as a third-party producer.
Yeah.
Is that Joe Goodman is very open. It's just like if you want to write stuff, and it's not like you have to toe the DCC line. It's not like you have to like where if you were rooming for something that's more established. You were like, you want to write something out of public access TV show and use the DCC rules. Go ahead and do that.
That does so much for the basement producer. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't know of another company, and I've said this on the two other Twitch things, but I have to say it again.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna go on the roll.
No, because it's so important. I walked around the floor a couple of times. I haven't seen everything, so excuse me if I leave your company out, but the Goodman Games booth is the only booth that is not only devoted, that has third-party products in such abundance right in front of all their products, both sides of the stinking booth. Wow. And it's like, not only is that, okay, great, I can get my product out there, but as a writer, as a guy that's literally doing stuff in a basement on a shoestring budget when my kids are outside playing, it's like, that gives you confidence, like, wow, somebody's listening. Mm-hmm. So, and what a push that is to go the extra mile. So not only is it awesome, to get to be on that table and talk to people about your stuff, but just individually to get that support. Somebody patting you on the back, say, "Go for it, kid. Give it a shot, and you can have some real estate."
Right.
No charge. Just do it. Go ahead.
We'll carry it on. We'll carry it in the web store.
Absolutely.
We're not asking you for the layout. $6,000 to have a professional graphic artist to do your cover for it. In fact, we actually kind of like, as you said, the draw your sign. DCC,
Yeah. So my email to Mr. Goodman, Joseph, the first time when I was doing Ninja City, I'm like, dear Mr. This was my email. Dear Mr. Goodman, I have an idea for a kind of 80s VHS-based reskin of Ninjas for Dungeon Crawl Classic. Sounds cool. Send me a draft. I ran upstairs to my wife. He said, sounds cool. He said, Joseph Goodman, the doctor said, sounds cool. Brrr, nobody saw me for 2 weeks. Joseph Goodman said, sounds cool. Got it done. Boom, sent it to him. It's on the website. I couldn't be more grateful for that experience. And it gave me that push to keep on going and to write and get better and keep on going. Mm-hmm. I don't know who else will do that.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but literally, I got my start almost the same way. I mean, I had a blog, and it was up for a couple of weeks, and I wrote this little thing called the Dungeon Alphabet. Got an email out of the blue from Joe Goodman. He's like, hey, you ever think about developing this into an actual role-playing game product? And I checked him out. He looked legit. And I said, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And that led to the fact that both of us are here today at Gen Con 2023.
And not to blow smoke, but I mean this. Like, I get to sit next to Michael. To Michael Curtis, the guy that wrote Shut 'Em Out. It's like I'm like fanboying out. I had lunch, I had breakfast with Brendan LaSalle and Harley, and I'm talking to Doug and Stefan. It's like, this is incredible. It's like I'm hanging out with Kiss, but cooler and not as monetized. You know, but what other chance does the DIY basement guy have to mingle and learn from all the greats?
Right. I mean, that's all part of the Gen Con experience.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
You're not. Well, I have to say, here we are sitting in a private skybox with.
Oh,
a
yes,
but, you know,
yes,
aside from
yes,
that,
Michael.
You can basically show up and hey, I want to run. Like, we opened up the funnel.
Yeah.
The funnel tournament was just like, we wanted people to run the funnel experience, and we were just like, hey, you want to run the funnel, and you join up, and you're part of the gang. You're hanging out.
Yeah.
You hang out here. We're going to feed you. You can do fun
yeah,
after
it's a
hours.
family. That's the thing. I keep on saying it to everybody. I'm probably driving them all nuts. But it really is. Everybody's looking out for each other. And you never know with these things because you talk to people online for a half hour. Oh, they're cool. I like their book. But you never know how they really are. Right. Every single person I have met that has something to do with Goodman Games, each one of them is a good egg, not a creep among them, and I really appreciate. And they're looking out for each other. I said it before too. Hey, you don't have anybody to eat with? Come sit with us. Mm-hmm. Hey, where you going for dinner? Hey, I got a game going. Nobody is left out. It's really the crew,
right?
You know.
I think enough. We've been there's so many of like the kind of the central kind of Goodman Games crowd. Those of us who've been like with the company for a long time. We all came from the same roots. I mean, so we're still like, hey, whatever. It's like we put our pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. We don't have any of that. There are some people in this industry who very much get up their own butt. They realize that they're like, hey, I'm selling X, or I had this successful Kickstarter and everything, and now I don't have F you, man. The real fun is hanging around here after hours.
Absolutely.
Just hanging out and just loving just loving what we do.
I could not have had a better con experience, and this community once again just shines way brighter and weirder than everybody else, and I love that.
Yep, that's it. And every year there's like another level added to it.
Yeah.
But it's like we've never forgotten our roots. So,
Yep.
I mean, in a little while I'm going to be talking to somebody else that who is very much. I think we're the only role playing game company out here who has one of these. But we're going to be having somebody who's responsible for most of the cool stuff which is out there or at the booth here today, like the Fizzler. He does it. He's not a third-party publisher, but he does a lot of other cool stuff, which no other role-playing game.
One of my new best friends. He's my roommate.
Yep.
And I just the coolest, man. Such a cool crew.
Yep. All right, I think that rounds us up. I think we're pretty good. So
thank you for this opportunity, Michael.
Thank you for giving me some time out here.
It's my pleasure.
And I'm sure I'll see you probably back at the
I'll
hotel.
Absolutely, very good. Looking for that handwritten sign.
All right. So we're going to be back in a little while with yet another guest and a slightly different location. So stick around. All right.